This is One on One. We are pleased to welcome Jody D'Agostini, who is founder and board chair of an organization called Community in Crisis. Jody, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
You've been involved, been involved in an incredible organization making a difference, dealing with the opioid crisis in our area and our nation. But you have a very personal connection to this as to why you even started to talk about it back in December of 2013.
Yeah, I got a very tearful call from my daughter, who was at college at the time. She's a nursing student and was in the hospital, so she really wasn't piping up her social media. Friday night called me with one of those phone calls that you know something's terribly wrong, can't catch her breath, and tells me that two of her friends have overdosed, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. Through her tears, trying to calm her down, she said, "Mom, how many more are we going to lose before someone does something about it?" Those words stuck with me. I'm a very spiritual person. I prayed on it that night, and I thought she was right. You know, she's right. Why are we going to watch kids die? And at that point, we really didn't understand this epidemic like we do today. This was 4.5 years ago. But I could count 19 people that I knew that were going in and out of recovery, friends of mine's children. I was fortunate enough to be in a place where I could make a difference. I was chair of the board of the Somerset Hills YMCA at that point. Called the head of the Y on Saturday morning, and I said, "David, we're about healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. This is in our sweet spot. I can't tell you what's going on, but something's going on. Can we study it and work on it?" So we were able to launch our community in crisis through the Y system. And study it, meet with addiction counselors, and create an evidence-based model to be able to combat this disease that's plaguing our nation, and New Jersey at 20% higher than the national average.
Jody, break it down. How exactly do you help people who are struggling?
Well, right now we've broken it down into prevention and education on the front end. So we want to stop more people from going into the queue and getting addicted, because once you're addicted, it can change brain chemistry. It's a disease. It's very difficult to give up. It's not a choice at that point. So we want to stop more people through education and prevention on the front end. We're also doing safeguarding of medications, clearing out medicine cabinets, locking up drugs, getting rid of stocks, not getting prescriptions on the front end. And then we most recently moved into the area of sobriety support, which is an area that really isn't well funded at this point, and not many people are in that area.
You know, the other thing I want to talk about is this opioid abuse toolkit. Our friends at the Horizon Foundation told us about this initiative. I know that
they're good friends of ours, and the Horizon Foundation partnered with us, as well as Rutgers Medical and Farm School. They liked the evidence-based model that we were doing, so we worked together to embellish it and create a statewide toolkit.
What is it?
It's a kind of how-to guide. So, and several communities that have started have called us to say, "What are you doing?" You know, because it takes a long time, and you're kind of throwing darts at the beginning. So we've been doing this 4.5 years now, and it's everything from marketing materials to lectures to who to go to, how to combat our model that takes it takes a village to do this. That's how we call it.
Describe that. People have heard that expression before, but break it down as to what it really means when it comes to dealing with someone struggling with addiction to opioids.
So we try to involve the entire community, from everybody from the schools, getting education in the schools, the police. We changed their thinking. We got them trained in Narcan recovery, because that's a big change. You know, we've had over 14,000 Narcan saves last year, and more so in 2018.
Take it back for a second. I need to understand this.
Yes.
You said retrain or train police. What does that mean?
I think they used to think them as drug addicts and criminals, and now I think they're starting to rethink this as they're people with a disease that this is beyond their control, and that maybe they need some help and some re-education and ways to get better, basically. So yes, they are, can't arrest their way out of it, as our prosecutor has been our friend says.
Go back to the Narcan piece.
Yes.
Not everyone knows what Narcan is.
Narcan is a drug that kind of reverts them back so that it can save lives, and it has saved many, many lives. As I said, over 14,000 saves
after an overdose.
Yes.
And the toolkit has a whole range of other information. By the way, Georgette, are we putting up the website so people can find out? Let's put it up as we speak. I'm curious about this. Parents.
Yes.
What do you want to say to them right now? Who say, you know what? It's terrible. Not my kid, though.
So that was what happened. If you can go back to December 2013, when we approached the schools, one of our school districts said, "It's not in ours, it's only in Basking Ridge." And I said, "Oh no, it's everywhere. It's everywhere across the state." So part of this is overcoming that and trying to educate them that it can be your kid. And it's heading all socioeconomic groups, all throughout New Jersey. So it's not like not in my town, it is in your town. And so to, roll under a rug and pretend that it can't be your kid, I think, it's not doing your child a good service. So sometimes knowing, first of all, the warning signs, if your child starts to recede and pull away, if there's some depression or anxiety, some of the kind of the, path or the root causes, as we call them, of why somebody might be going down this. Growing up is hard right now. I mean, there's a lot of bullying. Social media is playing a big part in all this, and we're starting to get to the root causes, because the way to cure a disease is to, I was a science major,
Sure.
to go back to the beginning and say, okay, how did this happen? And if we can stop it here, then when we can stop the progression of it eventually.
Jody, you've challenged the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes.
To do what and why?
Well, we have a new program, so we're doing, as I said, sobriety support on the back end, which is not well established
Right.
at this point. One of the parents that called me said, it's really hard. My kid's 25, comes back from, sobriety, recovery and all that after an overdose, comes back to community, can't go out with his friends because they're all going out to bars on the weekend, or they're drinking, it involves drinking,
Yep.
Can't get a job because he's got something on his background right now, heroin
He's got a felony,
possession.
right.
Exactly, so he can't get a job. So we started an initiative called Second Chance. We're partnering with a company called Executive Search that's in Parsippany and Bridgewater to try to get them reentry into the job market. And they are going out to pharmaceutical companies. That was one of our ideas, saying, hey, listen, if you are participated a little bit in the causation of this. Do you think that they did?
Do you think pharmaceutical companies owe it to do this?
I think from a social responsibility, yes, I do.
Do you
And I
think
used to work in pharma.
Well, here's my question. I'm not going to turn this into a political conversation. It's
Yeah.
more of an ethical, moral
Yes.
one. Do you think that most of the leaders in the pharmaceutical community acknowledge that they have contributed to this situation? Not that they are ultimately or primarily responsible or exclusively, but they've contributed big time.
I think they've taken some ownership. There's multifactorial causes to this. It's not just the pharma, but
Right.
certainly that was part of it. I mean, the other part of it was we made pain management the fifth vital sign.
That's right.
So if doctors are being challenged to lower pain scores,
Right.
and you're given this
1 to
magic
10,
tool.
what's your pain?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Jody, before I let you out, when is too early, not early enough? Fifth, sixth grade, can you talk about this with young people in school?
I think it starts in middle school or below, and they're saying as early as third grade, start the education, start curriculum. Part of it is coping skills, learning ways to deal with, bullying and some of the things out there they're being challenged with, social media. They can't get away from it. It's there in their home now.
Jody, thank you for what you're doing.
Can I mention one thing before I go?
Go.
We did open up a hub. It's our community support, 3,000 square feet. We're doing everything in sobriety support, from acoustic coffee houses. So on a Saturday night, you can come, listen to music with other people that are not doing drugs or drinking. Doesn't have to be just people in recovery. We're doing sober sports leagues so that you can be socially. And please come if you are looking for a job and you want to try to get back into the workforce. We've got willing partners that want to help you. We also have an advocate that can help you find placement for the right treatment that you're going to need.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate what you're doing
Appreciate
every
it.
day.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Hackensack Meridian Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, Kessler Foundation, NJM Insurance Group, and by NJ Best. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Regional Chamber, building essential connections that drive business growth, and by Observer New Jersey Politics. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.